Hey, welcome back. Today it's still all about the cabin, except that we're only going to do the rudder pedals and the brakes for them and matching, drilling them up to the floor, getting it all put away again. So if you want to see more about the brake pedals, stick around. I'm doing this a hair out of sequence. I just wanted something else to do. And I don't want those sides in my way when I'm in here working. So, and there's nothing that's going to change that I can think of by putting it all together. So I up drilled these to the center because they were supposed to be A4s, but the center support is A5s. So I up drilled those, clecoed it all in. But out here on the ends, they have to be match drilled to everything. And I got the longerons put in and up drilled to A5s. So I'm going to get this all measured up. And the first thing I'm going to do is take this very small part. It holds it quite a ways up off. But once I get the first one with this lined up straight, the first one, then I'll drop a drill in that hole. Because if I cleco it, I can't get this underneath that to find the other hole. So that's a little thing that I did that worked. Before I get going on this, I had to clean some of that paint off. I missed it by a little bit. If you're going to tape your ends up so that your bearings don't touch the paint, 1 7/32 will get you right to that edge. If you want to go past it a little, 1 1/4 will make it so that your bearing doesn't hit it all. And that I'd go 1 1/4 because you do have some slop in the middle. The first thing I'm going to do is locate the front hole. It's on there as far as I want it. Now that pokes through the hole and it lines up good. And the outside is 1 1/8. Right there. It's not a do or die situation, but you want to get it right. A long drill works really well right now, so you can not worry about these being off to one side or another. Yeah, confirm that it's right on there. And then take this little drill, the 3/32 drill, and slide that in there, down through the hole. Now that can move back and forth or up or down a little bit, but I'm going to elevate it. Make sure it's still in the hole. All right, now the key thing is to have that bearing set up high, set up square, put my finger under it, and make sure that thing's still in there because we're going to upsize this to the bolts, the AN bolt size too. So we got a little bit to play with. And it does show that the bolts aren't exactly perfect front to back. And this one's the same way. It's just a little off. I think it's more important to have, instead of having exactly centered, is to have these square to this. Square to each other. Working on the brake pedals now. I like to get things all the way done if possible. And I gotta mount this hinge. I've done all the prep work as far as measuring it out and figuring out where it goes. Had to angle this in a little to clear the weld there. But I got it taped where I need it. And this pad, that notch keeps this tab up off the table good. So if you got one of these and I'm doing that worked really good on the first one. That should work. If you happen to notice why my holes aren't in a line, what I did is I drew my center line down and put 2 of them on one side and 2 of them on the other side to give the curved area more support. That was just my idea. Whether it'll work or not, I don't know. But it seemed to make sense to me. the fun part. I love doing this. Oh, I gotta go get some steel. These are A5, or excuse me, these are AS5s, stainless steel. One other good reason for doing this is it keeps your motivation up, because you actually get something done instead of just always measuring, thinking, drilling, cleaning, sanding, prepping, priming, and not getting anywhere. But you are getting somewhere, you just don't feel like it sometimes. Here comes the big daddy. Make sure I didn't do it wrong. Oh, both on the left side, so that's a good thing. If you're wondering how I'm doing this, those squares that we used, those long pieces of wood right here like this that we used, I don't know if you can see it there. I'm putting them on an angle, supporting the bottom with them, and any drilling on the side, it just happens that a 2x4 fits perfect to support it when you push down to drill. So that worked out nice. Now I just got to click on the pedals and see if I can locate the exact spot for down below for the cylinders to sit. All right, this isn't set to the right length or anything. I know they're supposed to be back a little bit, right? So your feet don't hit them when you're pushing on the rudders. Yeah, as I was saying, the CruZer came with a complete dual brake setup, but I think it'll be lighter and easier. And I've heard, what if somebody accidentally, your passenger hit your brakes and they were excited on a video? I'd never even thought of it, but I was watching a video, of course, and they said that it's really important to let your passengers know to not touch the brakes. Looks about right. All right, let's put in the bottom brackets. Okay, I'm just winging this. I really like this part of it, but I did move this one over maybe a 1/16 of an inch off of center, just to get the bottom over just a little that way. And I just marked where the holes are underneath this. Put the bolt in. I'll probably build little plastic washers that fit in there to keep it from being tight, but just so that it doesn't move back and forth like that. And I can get some of the play out of it that way, but I'd rather have it pushed right in the center. But that looks pretty good. Now we got forward and back is right. The slop is right. Slop feels good. I'm gonna mark that so I got a line. Looks perfect to me. We'll be able to go from there. Okay, well that's a good feeling. I just ordered my paint for the interior of this. It's a exterior color for a car. It's a cool looking gray, metallic. Okay, this one's a little different. This one has a pilot hole right here, there, but it only has this one here and this one in line. So I think it's going to get in the way of that rivet. Yeah, I'm just thinking through this now as we're going over it. So I just noticed this yesterday and I haven't really thought it through or had a plan. I'm going to extend my lines and just see where that rivet really does end up of the two holes. And that lines up pretty darn good on the top. All right. It could go inboard just a touch. Yeah, it's between those two purple lines. Yeah, there's a lot of metal there. I think I'll just stagger them. I'll have those on an angle on this bracket. These two holes are on an angle because they're lined up to just be rivet holes for the side panel and the longeron here. So that just goes through the side panels. That's roughly where it would be. So you can see where that purple intersects. I'm not going to be too far out for that bolt head, and this one will be right about where it belongs. Yeah, that'll work fine. And double check it, and it's right on the money. So that gives me a good starting point for using this bit that steps up from, it'll put in the A4 size and then upsize it to the A5 size. And just drilled it real quick and upsized it and liquid it in, and now I will, so there's no mistakes, even though this is not complicated by any means. Put this in here, feel for wiggle, and that mark there, and this mark here. That's a good starting spot. Yeah, that's where it is. Well, here's the dealio. If I drilled that, that's the drill. So if I drill that, I've got a good 1/8 inch of metal outside of that. That isn't going to hurt anything. That's where we're going with it. All right. That looks good. Lines right up. Movie magic. I only showed you the one good one that lined up. No, I'm kidding. They lined up good. That proves it. All right. I'm liking it. I could have put this even over further, but I'm happy. I have to be happy. It's done. Now I've got to deal with what I did. If that's too close to the edge, I don't think so. Let's get it. So this is what I've been worried about the whole time, is that this is on an angle here. I can't imagine doing this after the cab is completely built and the rudder assembly's in and you can check for throw and all that. I'm taking it that they're correct. But to get them to move smoothly, I had to put a slight curve, because when these come around, they hit the L angle. So I just made the continuous curve from the same distance from the hole. And now the rudder stops will hit before these do. Yep, that's it. That's as best I can do for now, till I get the rudder put together. There. We'll disassemble. I've got the longerons all up drilled, but I'm not going to cut them yet because that big angle is kind of nice for reinforcing with a 2x4 against it. Big change of plans. Someone put the sides on now. See what that leads us into the next thing. Okay, I made a deal with myself that if this worked, then I would go ahead and put the dual brakes in. A real quick backstory here. I did a quick question on Facebook and asked if I should put dual brakes in, and it was overwhelming, like 3-to-1 to do it. So you guys really influenced me on this. I wasn't going to, but here we go. And I got a remark online that the non-skid stuff that I put on there was going to leave a lot of little flakes in the bottom of there. Not that that's a big deal, but it made me think. And I went to pull it off, and it came right off anyway. Super easy. But the thought I had was, I want something that grips, and I don't want to put a bunch of holes in here. I could see putting a couple rivets in for traction. I just took a couple pieces of oak. See, there's a little imprint in there from the first one. I hope it'll do 3 more. I put a little radius there and put this in the vise, put this in there and tried it. And since it worked so good, I'm going to put those marks on these, on this one. And then if this one works good, I'm going to do the pedals that are already completely riveted on. So that should be a trick. The only thing that's scary about this is if you accidentally bend it the wrong way. Nobody would do that, not even me. I want that to slide up a titch. There. That one's a little deeper, but it isn't as far, so I can change that just a titch more. A titch is a technical term for very little. Oh yeah, that did it. Just wonder if that'll give your foot a little more authority too. When you go to push back, I'm not sure how much my foot's going to be on there, but I just want something up there that I even thought about cutting grooves in these, but I'm going to leave them like this because that just helps. You can feel it. I think it's going to help keep my shoe on there. It's kind of a guess by golly kind of thing, but I don't know if you can see it, but they look darn near exact. Those lines were just references. All right, it looks like I'm gonna have to do that to the existing ones too. I like it. Don't tell Jan that I'm filming, okay? This is just a little too bulky for my two hands, so just steady that there for me, please. I gotta make a line in here. Oh, these are in there.
I just moved this up properly.
Okay, you hold on to it. You keep
Breaking it?
no. I'm putting that little curved top. Come on, perfect. All right, one more to do. This stuff didn't stick like I thought it would either. Look, just pulls right off. I got plenty. Look at that. Isn't that great?
Great. Don't we?
They came out pretty good. They're not all identical. So these were taken out of retirement and put back into service. So I've got to get all the brackets and finish up these. And I'll show you that when it's done. This ought to show you just how serious I was at not doing it. You guys were very convincing. I've worked on that one just a little bit. Most of my steel parts have been taken out, cleaned, and worked on. These are the hinges for the piano hinges for the other side. They haven't been opened, prepped, or nothing. The other ones were all polished and ready to rock and roll. So now I got to do these. Drill 2 on the left side of the line and 2 on the right side of the line. That way it'll have a little bit less reason to swivel or to chuck back and forth. It isn't a lot of difference, but as you can see, I believe that's going to give it a little more stable base. In the book, it shows you putting this down flat to the hinge. I raised it about 1/8 of an inch, hoping that I would get a little bit more leverage when I'm applying the brakes. But the thing that does too is that brings this adjustment up. So I have a lot of adjustment in those, and I looked at them so they can, when I first started doing the other side, I didn't explain that when I was doing the other side, but now that I'm here, I might as well show that. And yeah, that's the reason that I've got it setting up slightly. So you guys had a really big influence in why I have dual brakes. I wasn't going to originally. I asked a question on Facebook, and it must have been a hot button issue because I got 30 responses on it. I'm probably getting still responses on it. But I appreciate that. I really enjoyed going over all of them. And the main one was resale. I love that idea because I wasn't going to do it originally. I just thought, I'm just going to build this the way I want. Every little pound counts because I'm adding stuff that I probably shouldn't, little things here and there. And to take weight out would be really easy to like not put the seat rails in, and maybe the side windows in the back, they're really heavy plastic. If I can come up with something that's just as strong but thinner and lighter, I'm still not there. But the point was, it was overwhelming. There was at least 10 to 1 of maybe not that much, but to have them. And the instructor, having an instructor in there and wanting them on that side, that made a lot of sense to me. So that's why we're doing it. You guys really influenced me. Thank you. Well, I just polished up all the pieces individually. Did that at 400 sandpaper one direction. I really like that look. I'm going to leave those brackets like that. The pedals are all riveted on, ready to rock and roll. These are going back into storage. Really fun getting that one done. Hey, thanks for hanging around. That was actually really fun. I just enjoyed that immensely. Nothing really surprising. Just knew that when you run into the edges of stuff, got to get clearances right, take the time to do all the busy work, and get the edges all cleaned up and pretty for when we go to install it. I can't believe they're put away until I get to put them in the painted floor and stuff, and that's going to be fun. All right, well, thanks for sticking around. I'll see you in the next one.